Simone, teacher. I'm so glad that you're here in my classroom today to listen and read with me. Today we're going to read chapter 17 of David Walliams' Ratburger, illustrated by Tony Ross. What an exciting piece of literature. Have you read the first 16 chapters yet? I hope so. Here we go. Chapter 17. I smell a rat. I smell a rat, wheezed Bert. Except it wasn't Bert. Well, it was Bert, but he had drawn a mustache on his face very poorly with a marker pen. What on earth are you doing here? Said Zoe. And why have you got a mustache drawn on your face? It's a real mustache, my dear, said Bert. He breathed heavily when he spoke. His voice matched his face. They had both stepped out of a horror film. No, it's not. You've drawn it on. No, I haven't. Yes, you have, Bert. My name is not Bert, child. I am Bert's twin brother. What's your name, then? Bert thought for a moment. Bert. Your mum had twins and called them both Bert? We were very poor and we couldn't afford a name each. Just get out of my room, you creep. All of a sudden, Zoe heard her stepmother pound along the corridor. Don't you dare speak to the nice pest control man like that, she screeched as she waddled into the room. He's not the pest control man. He sells burgers, protested Zoe. Bert stood between them with a smirk on his face. It was impossible to see what his eyes were doing because his wraparound sunglasses were black as the deepest, darkest oil. What are you talking about, you stupid girl? He catches rats, shouted Zoe's stepmother. Don't you? Bert nodded silently and smiled, flashing his ill-fitting false teeth. The little girl grabbed her stepmother by her thick tattooed forearm and led her to the window. And she declared, tell me what's written on the side. Sheila looked out of the grimy window to the vehicles parked down below. Bert's pest control, she read. What? Said Zoe. She wiped some of the smudges off the window and peered out. The woman was right. It did say that. How was it possible? It looked like the same van. Zoe looked over at Bert. His smirk had widened. As she watched, he took a dirty little brown paper bag out of his pocket and picked something out of it. Zoe could have sworn whatever he put in his mouth was moving. Could it have been a cockroach? Was that his depraved man's idea of a snack? See, said Bert, I'm a rat catcher. Whatever, said Zoe. She turned to her stepmother. Even if he is, which he isn't, because he's a burger van man, why is he in my bedroom? She demanded. He's here because he heard at school that you brought a rat into your lessons, replied her stepmother. It's a lie, said Zoe, lying. Then why did I get a call from your headmaster today? Eh? Answer me. He told me everything, you disgusting little girl. I don't want any trouble, my dear, said Bert. Just hand the little creature over. He held out his grubby and gnarled hand. Bert had a dirty old cage on the floor by his feet that looked like it was made from a metal basket from a deep fat fryer. Only instead of using it to fry chips, he had squashed hundreds and hundreds of rats into it. At first glance, Zoe thought the rats were dead, as they weren't moving. On closer inspection, she realized they were alive. It was just they were packed in so tight they could hardly move. Many looked like they could hardly breathe either. They were also squashed in together. It was a sickening sight, and Zoe wanted to cry at the shocking cruelty of it. Just then, Zoe felt Armitage wriggling in her breast pocket. Perhaps he could smell fear. The little girl discreetly brought her hand up to her breast to hide the wriggles. Her mind was racing with potential lies before she arrived at one. I set him free, she said. The headmaster is right. I did bring a rat into school, but I set him free in the park. Just ask Raj. He told me to do it. You should go and look for the rat in the park, she added, suddenly cupping Armitage through her blazer pocket, as the little rodent was squirming like crazy now. There was a deathly pause. Then Bert sneered. You are lying, my dear. I'm not, said Zoe a little too quickly. Don't lie to the nice man, bellowed Sheila. We can't have another filthy, disease-ridden creature running around the flat. I'm not lying, protested Zoe. I can smell it, said the vile man, his vile nose twitching. Smell a rat from miles. Bert sniffed the air, then wheezed. Baby ones smell especially sweet. He licked his lips, and Zoe shouted. There's no rat here, said Zoe. Hand it over, said Bert. Then I give it a quick whack with this special high-tech rodent stunner. He produced a bloody mallet from his back pocket. It's painless, really. They don't feel a thing. Then he can join his friends for a nice play in here. Bert indicated the cage by kicking it hard with the heel of his dirty boot. Zoe was horrified, but composed herself before she spoke. You're quite wrong, I'm afraid. There's no rat here. If it comes back, we will of course call you immediately. Thank you. Hand it over now, raised the sinister man. Meanwhile, Sheila was studying the stepdaughter she loathed intently and noticed the awkward positioning of her left hand. You vile creature, accused the woman as she yanked her stepdaughter's hand away. It's in her blazer. Madam, you hold her down, directed Bert. I can whack the rat through the cloth. There will be less blood on the carpet that way. No, screamed Zoe. She tried to wrestle her arm away from her stepmother, but the woman was not bigger and stronger than her stepdaughter. The little girl lost her balance and crashed to the floor. Armitage wriggled out of her pocket and started scurrying across the carpet. Screamed her stepmother. Trust me, he won't feel a thing, wheezed Bert, as he got down on his hands and knees, brandishing the bloody mallet. His nose twitched as he chased the rat around the room, whacking the implement onto the floor, missing Armitage by millimeters. Stop, screamed Zoe. You'll kill him. She tried to make a charge at the man, but her stepmother held her back by her arms. You little beauty, whispered Bert, as he brought the mallet crashing down repeatedly onto the dusty carpet, plumes of ingrained dirt now exploding into the air with every thwack. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Armitage scurried this way and that, trying desperately to avoid being whacked. The mallet walloped down and just catching his tail. Scolded the rat in pain, and he rushed off to hide under Zoe's bed. This did not deter Bert, who, without taking off his dark glasses, got down onto his belly and slithered under the bed like a snake, flailing his mallet wildly from side to side. Zoe writhed out of her stepmother's grasp and launched herself onto the man's back as soon as he appeared from under the bed. The little girl had never hit anyone before, and now she'd leapt astride his back like a cowboy on a bull at an American rodeo, thumping his shoulders with all her might. Within seconds, her stepmother yanked her off by her hair and pinned her against the wall before Bert disappeared under the bed again. Zoe, no! Oh, yeah! Well, screamed the woman. Zoe had never seen her stepmother so uncontrollably angry. Muffled under the bed, Zoe could hear a thud after thud of the mallet crashing down on the carpet. Tears were now streaming down the girl's face. She couldn't believe her beloved little friend was going to meet such a violent end. And then there was... Bert wriggled out from under the bed. Exhausted, he sat on the floor. In one hand he held the bloody mallet, Between the fingers of his other hand, he held a lifeless Armitage, dangling by his tail, before announcing triumphantly, "Gotcha!" No, I can't believe it. What do you guys think? Is poor Armitage dead? Can't be. Poor little Zoe, she's been through so much. And what a violent attack. I guess we'll have to read chapter 18 to find out. I hope you have your book. I hope you're reading. Enjoy. Let me know what you think about the story so far. Let me know what you think about this chapter. What a shocking chapter. Let me know in the comments or in the comments. All right, enjoy. We'll read another chapter, another story some other day. See you soon. Bye.